Hey, good morning, everyone. It's time for our chart of the week. And this week, we're going to be focused in on big defense name Northrop Grumman. NOC is the symbol on this one. So let's take a look at this chart. It's been very strong for the past 6.5 weeks and see if we got some more upside to go. So as you can see, post earnings, the stock really made a nice run up and gapped higher back in July from about 440 all the way up to about 470, and it hasn't stopped. And blasting all through $500 and peaking last week at about 524, 526. And it came down late last week, and it made a nice move up on Monday, September 9th on better volume over here. We can see that. Notice that the relative strength is overbought. Okay. But it's been overbought for 6 weeks, right? So all of those expert technicians who would tell you don't buy a stock when it's overbought on relative strength, that's a bunch of malarkey. That's a bunch of that's complete nonsense, because clearly this is a stock that once it gets overbought stays there relative strength wise, is a great spot to buy on the dips. And you can see this one dip happened right over here, came up over here, and then we just recently had another dip. So I think that this more recent dip from a couple of days ago is a great opportunity to jump on board. Now let's take a look at some of these other indicators here. We see the MACD is still in overbought territory here. It's pulled back a little bit only because the trajectory of the moving averages has started to flatten out a little bit. And all this MACD does is tells you about these moving averages and the trajectory of them. And we can see that the 20-day moving average, which was really moving up at a very steep angle, has started to flatten out a little bit. The 10-day as well too. The 50, the 100, and the 200-day moving average continually moving up here. We see good strength in money flow as well. Look at that strength in the money flow. Couple indicators we don't normally look at here. On balance, volume is really rocketed higher as well too, so it means that big institutions are coming in and adding to the stock. And finally, we'll look at the bottom over here, which is the average directional movement, ADX, which tells you it's a directional call. It says, what direction the stock is moving in, and when the black line or the thick line is on top of the red line or the thin line, that means it's the average directional movement is up, and we want to see the ADX at a plus 25 or better. It's currently at 28. So it's been that high since the middle of July. In fact, we got that crossover here back in late July, just before the earnings came out, and that was a buy signal, and it's been on a buy signal ever since. Now, clearly the momentum was going to stall out. It wasn't going to keep going at this pace forever. It's going to flatten out a little bit at some point, but I think that this stock has got some more legs here, maybe up to 550 to 570 before it stalls out again. But make no mistake, Northrop Grumman is one of the strongest names in the markets right now. We haven't had a whole lot of names outside of banks or housing that are making new highs, but certainly some names in the defense area like Lockheed Martin and General Dynamics are up there right near new all-time highs, much like Northrop Grumman. So take a look at NOC for a play in the next 2-3 months.